When you get right down to it, so much of programming is just about repetition. We're constantly needing to do the same thing over and over again, and doing that well, that's what separates clunky code from something truly powerful. Today, we're going to open up the Coder's Toolkit and really master this art of repetition. So let's kick things off with a simple question. All right, let's just imagine for a second you've written one perfect line of code. It does exactly what you want it to do. But now you don't need it to run just once. You need it to run 100 times. What do? Well, the first thing that might pop into your head, the brute force way, is to just copy it and then paste it 99 more times. I mean, sure, technically that would work, but oh my gosh, can you imagine how inefficient that is? Your code file would be enormous, and a bug, forget about it. You'd have to fix it in 100 different spots. No way. There's got to be a better way. And of course there is. This is exactly why loops were invented. They're a fundamental core piece of programming that lets us repeat a chunk of code over and over, but in a really clean, concise, and manageable way. All right, let's open up that Coder's Toolkit. The very first tool we're going to pull out, the real foundational one, is the while loop. It's super simple, but man, it's the bedrock for everything else. The way a while loop works is just beautifully simple. It's all about one question, one condition. As long as that condition is true, the code inside the loop keeps running. But here's the key part, the really crucial thing to remember. It checks that condition before each run. So if the condition is true, it runs. If it's false, it just skips the whole thing completely. Okay, to make this feel a little less abstract, think about hammering a nail. Your brain is basically running a while loop. You look at the nail and ask, is it all the way in yet? No? Okay, swing the hammer. You keep doing that, right? You're always checking that condition while the nail isn't in before you take another swing. Now, the while loop has this cousin, let's call it the do while loop. And the only real difference, the big thing, is when that check happens. So with a regular while loop, you check first and then maybe you run. So if the condition is false right from the get-go, that code never even runs once. But with do while, it's flipped. You run the code once, then you check. And what does that do? It guarantees your code is going to execute at least one time no matter what. So while loops are great, super versatile, but honestly, for a lot of the stuff you'll be doing, there's an even better tool. It's time to grab the real power tool from our kit, the for loop. And trust me, this is the one you are going to see and use all the time. So why is it so popular? Well, it's because it's built for one very specific, very common job. When you know exactly how many times you need to repeat something. It packs everything you need, where to start, when to stop, and how to count along the way, all into one neat, tidy little package. So let's actually break down those three parts you see inside the parentheses. First up, you've got the begin part, something like let I equal 0. This only happens one time, right when the loop kicks off, and it just sets up our little counter. Next, you have the condition, like I less than 3. This is the check that happens before every single pass. Is it true? Cool, we run the code. Is it false? We're done. Loop over. And finally, there's the step, like I++. This runs after your code on each pass, and its job is just to update the counter. Okay, let's walk through how this actually runs step by step. First, the begin part runs just once. Bam, I is now 0. Then we check the condition. Is 0 less than 3? Yep, so we run the code inside the loop. After that, the step part kicks in, and now I is 1, and we go right back to the job. Check the condition again. Is 1 less than 3? Yes, it is. This whole cycle just keeps going until I finally becomes 3. Then the check 3 less than 3 is false, and that's it. The loop stops. All right, so we know how to start loops and how they stop. But what if we need more control? What if something happens inside the loop and we need to react to it, change things up on the fly? Well, that's where controlling the flow comes in. So picture this, you're digging through a massive database, like a million records, looking for just one person's name, and you find it on record number 50. Now, is there any point at all in checking the other 999,950 records? Of course not. That'd be a huge waste of time. You need a way to just stop everything right then and there. And the tool for that exact job is break. Just think of it as the big red emergency stop button for your loop. The second your code hits the word break, the loop is over, instantly. No more checks, no more runs, it just jumps right out to whatever code comes next. But what if you don't want to stop the whole show? Let's say you're looping through numbers 1 to 10, but you only care about the odd ones. You don't want to kill the loop when you see the number 2, right? You just want to skip it and move on to 3. Well, for that, we have continue. This one is like the skip this track button on your music player. When your code hits continue, it just bails on the current run. It stops right where it is, jumps back to the top, and kicks off the next iteration. The loop itself keeps on trucking. Okay, we have covered a ton of ground and added some seriously powerful tools to our belt. So let's take a quick breath and just lay out everything in our new loop toolkit so it's fresh in our minds. So let's do a quick review. Your basic bread and butter loop that runs as long as a condition is true, that's your while loop. Need to make absolutely sure the code runs at least one time? Go for the do while. Got a specific number of repetitions to get through? The for loop is your best friend, your all-in-one power tool. And when you need that fine-tuned control, break slams on the brakes and stops the whole thing, and continue just skips to the next round. And that's really it. This, right here, mastering loops, is what unlocks the real magic of programming. It's how you go from writing one-off commands to automating huge tasks, processing tons of data, and building really cool stuff. You've just picked up a skill that every single programmer uses, every single day. So that just leaves one big, exciting question. Now that you have the power to repeat any action you want, what are you going to build first?